What was the hottest thing someone said to you? I remember a girl I was talking to was in love with my shoulders. I'm a bigger guy, so my shoulders are pretty broad, but she would almost get off just from feeling and holding onto my shoulders, and it was the hottest thing to have someone actually attracted to a part of me. First date with the guy I'm still seeing. We were making out and stuff, and I could tell he was restraining himself very hard from continuing further. He stops kissing me, kind of groans, and says the things I would do to you right now. I've never felt more wanted in my life. Sunday morning, just dropped the kids off at the church nursery. My wife whispers to me, "Honey, I forgot something at home." Me, what was it? Her whispering in my ear, my underwear. Somehow we missed the sermon that week. When I was pregnant, I was kind of worried at first that my husband wouldn't like how my body was changing, because I didn't love it at first, either. I told him and he sat me down and said, "I didn't think you could get any more beautiful," but I was wrong. I've never wanted to you so bad. Let me show you how gorgeous and amazing you are. Fade to black. It was so sweet that it made me cry. It's one of the hottest and most beautiful things he's ever said to me. A guy I dated told me that he admired that I was the perfect mix of having both feet firmly planted on the ground, but without having lost my sense of wonder for the world. Best compliment anyone has ever given me. Maybe because it was so introspective and insightful. Hanging out with a male friend one early summer night, and before he leaves, he asks for a kiss. I lean in and peck in on the cheek, and he's like, "No, I meant how about a real kiss?" It was pretty hot, but our romance ended that night. He got into heroin while I got into depression. R.I.P. George. Had my heart broken a few times and wasn't ready to date. After about 8 months of seeing each other, the girl I was seeing at the time and I had a lengthy conversation about becoming official, to which I maintained I wasn't ready and not sure I'll ever be, regardless of the person. This was during us getting ready to go out. She kept a straight face, went straight in front of the mirror and started to promptly fix her dress. With teary eyes, trying to maintain composure, she uttered, "You have the image of your perfect half. You meet him, and you know he exists, and to realize I can't have him is devastating. We are expecting our second child this month." I had been on a few dates with this guy and was so badly wanting to go to the next level, but he was being hesitant. We were on the couch watching a movie when the subject turned to tattoos. He asked if I had one, and I told him I'd show him. It was between my hip and genital area, so I had to unzip my pants and move over my underwear so he could see it. He got a complete deer in headlights look and told me he had to eat me out now. Still the most shocking 180 a guy has ever done to me. "Oh, name. You're so big." Well, that got me going to the moon. First date with a girl who was a recent addition to my friend group after we had hung out a few times and already engaged in some flirting. We sit down to dinner, and I really liked her, so I was a bit nervous. She picks up on it and says, "You can relax, I've already decided that I want to sleep with you tonight." Best first date ever, and we totally banged that night. A celebrity once told me I had the most beautiful smile he's ever seen. A lot of people have told me that in my life, but a handful of people have said it in a way that was both so sweet and seductive that it made body parts tingle. He was one of them. I love you. I was kissing an ex-girlfriend in Camden Market back when it was actually cool and scuzzy. She looked up at me, eyes huge, and said, "Oh, you make my knees go weak." Such an amazing memory. Not really had many compliments from women, so that makes it extra special even after all these years. Before I had brain surgery in 2020, my boyfriend shaved my head, and I was crying pretty hard. He looked at me and told me I was his battle-hardened Viking warrior. It made me feel so amazing then, and it still makes me feel tingly and super strong. Talking without words, there is this guy in the fighting club I go to. He's a boxer, and I do martial arts. Whenever I walk past him, he just stares at me while it feels like for minutes. His eyes are glowing and I feel so pretty afterwards. I have seen that he always notices me when I walk somewhere near the boxing place. It's really cute. When my ex-wife and I first started dating, she showed up in heels and an overcoat, came to my front door, opened her coat and said happy birthday. She wins this one. Ex-wife, half Chinese. I said I'm having some Chinese food to eat for dinner. She said I'll give you some Chinese to eat. I didn't know how to respond. Your student loan has been forgiven. I could never make love to another woman and you am so addicted to being inside of you, my fiancé. These threads always make me a bit sad cause I've yet to experience something like this, face with tears of joy. I once was talking to this girl and she ended up giving me a nickname and called me Bunny. Had my britches soaked. Some girl at college texted me once, "Sorry we didn't see each other today at school. Would be hot to feel your hand under my skirt. Grinning face with sweat, grinning face with sweat, grinning face with sweat." When I said I feel I'm old and you'd crack my bones like a glow stick, He replied he'd manhandle me like a rave. Let me tell you, the quick response took my breath away. She called me a good girl while I was going down on her. I'm a guy. They don't make men like you anymore. Which hole would you like first? As I was at a karaoke bar with some friends, and at the end of it a girl came up to me and said if I weren't a lesbian I would take you home. That was the best compliment I had received in my life. I had been friend-zoned for several years with this cute little blonde. She'd moved away, but we kept in touch. I kept in touch because I really liked her and why closed doors. Anyway, one day in 2007, out of the blue, I get a text, I'm going to move back and I think I want to date you. That's it, that's the hottest thing that ever happened to me. 15 years later, we are married and have a couple kids and a good life. Every time I think of that text message I giggle a little bit. Maybe not as exciting as sit on my face. But we've had some pretty hot times, and that's how it started. I want you to finger me under the table while I am giving my order to the waiter. This is the reason people use illegal drugs. I complimented on an ex's lips with her lipstick on, then she proceeded to tell me it would look great on my chicken. Shredding cheese on top of pasta, tell me when. Said somewhat breathlessly, this is exactly like I imagined, as she put it, in chick I'd been casually hanging out with for a couple years. We had a good FWB thing going for a solid 6 months or so after that night. Those few times previously, I called her, and she coyly said, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." Suddenly made lots more sense. My boss told me to clock out at 3:30 on a Friday and enjoy the weekend. After I came in her mouth, she said thank you and it why I thought it was so hot. I was a bartender in Myrtle Beach during college, and two black ladies in their 30s at two different sections said I looked like Leonardo DiCaprio. If you have ever been complimented by older black ladies, you know how amazing that feels. I think it's great that you have values. I just want to help you forget them for a while. I can't wait to live with you finally. Been together for 1.5 years, and she just can't wait to move in with me. 9 months of military soon to be left, and we can do it okay hand. As she puts my joystick in "Oh you're big," proceeds to moan. Never forgot that. It wasn't anything that was said, but it was still quite impactful. 2 years ago I was rebuilding my bathroom, and I went to the local hardware store to buy some supplies. The bathroom had been inoperable for a while, and I had not had the opportunity to shower for a few days. I was wearing some old work clothes and all 5 feet 4 inches of me was covered in dust and grime. Suddenly a really beautiful woman that was obviously working there comes walking past. Without saying anything, she looks straight into my eyes for a few seconds and gives me a big smile. Then she disappears. This was very weird, but also very pleasant. People usually doesn't even notice that I exist, so this was a very unusual experience, and I didn't really know how to react. I never saw that woman again, but I still remember it vividly. She stole a kiss from me, then her friend looked at my friend and said I think I should join them. I don't know what she said, but he whispered it into my ear in French. We married a couple years after that, and we're coming up on 15 years this year. I once was told I always feel safe whenever I'm resting in your arms. I think every man should make their woman feel that way. Wait. Before we kiss, I have to go spit in the bathroom. I'm nervous, I have a lot of spit in my mouth. If you would do it sober, do it tonight. Extremely attractive young lady about 20 years ago at college. I was not entirely sober, but we did do it that night. You are the bane of my existence, and the object of all my desires. At a gay bar, a guy asked me if I'm straight. I said yes, and then he replied, I knew it, you were too cute to be true. Me, you look like chocolate, I could eat you right now, or I could let you winky face. I make balloon animals, and she said seeing what you do with those balloons makes me wonder what you could do to my guts. I have pizza. I bought you a big cookie, the man that is now my husband. So hot. I was walking a Muslim friend of mine to her car in college, and out of the blue she said, do you want to see my hair? It was super hot because it meant something to her. I think about it from time to time. Face with tears of joy. Look at the face of the one who gives you pleasure, Jesus. I've looked over your tax return and corrected a mistake. You're getting more money back than before. Oh, you're big when I put it inside her. I'm not big, but it was hot to hear that for the first time. Second hottest thing was when a girl I had been seeing for a few months said take off the condom, it'll feel even better. I had a man say that all the smart people he knows have the best birthing hips. I'm a guy and this man told me I have great birthing hips. I once said, I like natural body sense from certain people, they said, I prefer yours in my sheets. I have always wanted to fall in love the way I'm in love with you. My ex crying face. You make me proud to be different, my ex, and I grew up in a conservative town in Indiana. We were gay and we had a rough time in high school. We went out on a date and had a great time, and we were back at his place making out, and he just pulled back and said this to me. Turned me on so fast, though I kinda already was, and it was so heartwarming and just took everything, better than any I love you or dirty talk.